Welcome back to Open Your Eyes, and we're moving now into our third and final segment for the morning. Now, this one is all about a male calendar launch, and we've got the reps in to talk to us all about this, and the proceeds go to Haven House. Now, Sampson Jacobs, I don't know what he's going to do here, but he's actually a teacher and counselor at EP Yorke High School. You tell me what to do here. And we actually have Dr. Saunders, my girl, with us this morning. Site manager.
She's the president of Haven
House. Yeah. Guys, good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
It's nice to have both of you in with us. So let's talk about this. Everybody excited when they hear.
First, before we get into the calendar, let's talk about Haven House.
Yes.
Okay. Right? You are the president of Haven House.
Yes.
For those of us at home that might not know where it is, or what it's about, and its objectives.
Yes.
Tell us more about Haven.
Okay, so we were established in 1993. We're a functional shelter. Our logo says we're a safe place when home isn't, because we advocate for women, for the elimination of domestic violence. And what we do, we offer shelter to women and their children who have been victims of domestic violence. Within the ambit of our resources, we have what we call wraparound services, and those services include counseling. We do referrals for health. We assist with legal matters, because sometimes they need legal separation. They're oftentimes linked with situations where immigration matters are on them, so we need to facilitate that process. We assist with skills development so that we can assist the women to have an economic base when they determine that they want to transition from out of that relationship. But a lot of the efforts require funding. And though we are very successful in collaborating with the government, we receive a subvention monthly from the government of Belize, because this service is not offered by the government. It's offered through community-based organizations like ourselves. We have to do a lot of fundraisers. And the fundraisers, to make them more effective, we include the element of awareness. We raise awareness, and we do our advocacy work through the fundraisers. And so the concept of the calendar was born in 2019, where we launched our first calendar for 2020. And then COVID came along and we had a standstill.
I remember you guys were on with us when we did. Spoke about that first launch. But again, on Haven House, because there are a lot of advocacy with respect to, and we're in actually the 16 days of activism to end violence against women and children. With all these advocacy that goes on, and I could remember an entity being here, and I asked about KPIs or key performing indicators in terms of you advocate, but how do we know that this work is actually working for us? We're not just here to advocate. We want to make sure that what we're advocating for is being adhered to and is working. Are we seeing a rise with women actually accessing the services of Haven House?
And that's one of the things, that domestic violence is still stigmatized. And even though we do a lot of the advocacy work, we realize that women, because domestic violence affects women across the spectrum, we recognize that they don't come for the services. Our system uses a referral system where you have to go either through the women's department or through the domestic violence unit of the police department. Now, we're only doing a portion of domestic violence. We are doing the male-women situation, and we advocate for women. But domestic violence can be
male too.
It could be same-sex, so it's gender-based violence. It can also be child, beating on the grandparent, or So there are different areas, but our shelter works with women and their children. So we're not sure that we can't definitively tell you more people are responding. We can tell you our statistical data each year we collect the statistics of who we help and how we help them and how we place them. Though there's constraints because the women, our shelter has capacity for about 4 families with all the services that we offer.
Family comprising of how many people?
They could have up to 7 children. So the space poses a problem, right? And then we are able to house them for up to 21 days. Now, during that time, you can decide to go back to your situation. But if you don't, you're still there with us 21 days before we transition you into a independent living, and then we maintain that for 3 months. So that's another resource challenge that we have.
Yes.
Let's talk about your partners, because you did mention certain entities in the government and so forth.
Yes.
What other perhaps NGOs or organizations does Haven House collaborate with in order for your habitats to get referred?
Okay, so we are a member of Belize network of NGOs, and I am a representative on that as well for Haven House. In addition to that, we are a small network that provides shelter for domestic violence victims in the country, and there's only 3 organizations that currently do that: House of Dorcas, Haven House, and Mary Open Doors. So very small. And if you look at the locations, we are centrally located, so our clients come from across the country and they have to be transported to Belize City at our location. Mary Open Doors is centrally located in Cayo, and then House of Dorcas is in Pachacan village. I don't even know if you've ever been there. Right?
Pachacan,
So Corozal up north. So there's really a need for more coverage as well.
So let's jump on now into the mail calendar launch. We've got Sampson Jacobson with us, heavy advocate. Let's talk about this, bro. Tell us the specs of this situation.
In terms of the calendar, right?
In terms of why you wanted to be an advocate.
Yes.
For
advocacy for this.
Personally, when Dr. Saunders reached out to me, I was kind of hesitant because I'm not a model, if anybody know me.
I mean, I'm a model, bro.
And then at that time when I saw the flyer, I was thinking, show me body. And my body wasn't bodying at the time. Right? So I decided to do it for 2 reasons. One, I'm a product of gender-based violence.
Wow.
And 2, I'm a social worker by degree. And so I see it fitting to take on that challenge and to send the message in terms of us males standing against gender-based violence. And like my month says, because I choose December, together we stand against gender-based violence. Right? So it's not a woman thing, it's a together thing. And the men's supposed to lead the charge in that area.
So that was going to be my next question, because Haven House is primarily a space for women and their girls. So the idea for a male calendar to represent Haven House, what kind of engineering, what kind of work did that have to take for this idea to grow?
Okay, so I think in 2018, Dr. Shana Pot, she's a friend of Haven House. She and I, we birthed this idea, and it was simple. We look around, we saw that women were on the Bellicane calendar, the Bellicane Stock calendar. You saw the type of how they drew people to them. We used to be on Facebook, and we used to tease each other about the male, but we would say about their watches on their hand, but it was their physique that we were actually making reference to. And so she said, we should do something that will help to promote and raise awareness using the same concept. It says sex sells, but we kind of put a little twist to it in that we wanted to promote the advocacy work that Haven House was doing. And so we had the concept that the calendar would be, and you notice that all the months, the men have a quote. They're really serious about it. They select their quote and what they want to promote. And then we develop a selection criteria, because for one thing, we were sure we did not want you to have a history of any kind of violence against women for you to represent Haven House. And then we had other criteria, and I think a lot of people were locked in about the fact that you have to have, as Sampson said, the body.
Yeah,
you know,
so body never the body at the time.
The body wasn't body, and I think that has kept people from coming to the calendar. And we know and we understand that the women will look for, but we don't want to objectify the men. But we have an opportunity now when they come to the launch, they get to speak one-on-one with our male advocates, and they hear, just as Sampson has shared, why it is he feels that this is an opportunity for him to share. And I'll tell you, a lot of the males, I've worked with both calendars, they are really passionate about it because all of us have either experienced it or we've had a family member who has had this type of experience, and we want to be able to advocate for the elimination of.
So it's not so much about the model, it is the message that they are trying to express and what they
We're giving them an opportunity because a lot of our men, they want to speak up against, they don't want to remain in silence, they're supportive of the work that we do, and this is a space that we've created for them. We usually launch it during the 16 days of activism because that's when we're active, that's when we're and that's when the males want an opportunity to also let us know that they are not standing for violence.
I wanted to share too that if you look at the calendar, some have unclosed and some don't. I guess
it's your comfort.
Andrew Norales, who is from Kikaka, he was maybe the brainchild behind it in terms of how they lay out the teams. And if you notice, my month, December, the team was suit up, and that is why I have on a suit.
That's why you have on a suit.
So it's December is more formal event. But I was thinking this morning, I said, suppose John asked me why I have on clothes, right? So I decided I'm well a suit, and so I said that, you know what, the suit symbolizes our manhood, our male figure. We're supposed to be the provider, the caretaker of our homes. So it's going beyond just the suit. Right?
And I like that you said that in terms of the caretakership. But I'll throw it beyond that. You know, when we join unity, male, man, wife, or you know, however we want to put it, we then become caretakers of the household. So for such calendar, you know, showcasing the strength of man as well, and how he is able to take care of his household, and for the fact that we should love our women and children like ourselves, that is a great gesture. So how you can just sign up for this calendar? Because I feel like I'm missing.
I made it try so hard for advocate. I posted flyers. I saw the flyer.
Call for male advocates, and but I told you what we were faced with, and even Sampson. You had to, you know, they would express interest in my inbox, and then we have to encourage them because the first thing they see is the Andrew on the front of the calendar, and they're like, I don't have that body, but you have the ingredient that we want. And so Andrew decided, let's figure out a way to get all these great guys to be on the calendar without misrepresenting themselves.
Right, because the call was for male models, but
we didn't say anything about bod or bring your bod. That's an assumption, but it's linked to the Bellikin calendar concept. Right? So we had to compete with that too. So we needed a little prodding, and I'm grateful for opportunities to be on OYE and other shows because we get to say this to them for next year's calendar, because we're definitely having next year's calendar.
When you call up for next year?
We put out that call from October, September, October.
And when the pictures start getting?
Right away, like in November after we do the selection.
John's asking for himself.
Yes, John, you wouldn't have any time to eat ham and turkey yet. You would have already posed for the calendar. Yes, man. And then if you're coming straight from September, you already had your September workout for getting into carnival shape. Right?
But let's talk about the launch and the proceedings. So you have this calendar. They're going for $30
yes, a donation, we say. Yes.
So where are the proceedings going to?
They go directly into programmatic areas at the shelter. Remember I said we have these wraparound services that we offer, and those require funding. So this is a fundraising event, but it's also an awareness raising event as well.
Exactly, you know, and I really and truly appreciate the concept of this. I think this is something that everybody should support, because what we're doing here, when we get one of these calendars, we're actually supporting our women, we're supporting our children, we're supporting our household. Yes. And that's the important message that we are supposed to dispense when we're out here. So, when are the big launch?
The big launch is this Friday, 6 to 11 p.m. at the Biltmore poolside. You get to meet all, and this year we have a bonus. We have the credits page, which is dedicated to another advocate. So you have 13 wonderful male advocates, and they will be on site to sign an autograph, and you can interact with them, share ideas, and share ideas with us for next year's calendar.
Excellent. I really and truly appreciate this. April, you ready for your calendar?
I'll do anything to support the Haven House.
Okay, thank you. And then how can you get calendars if you can't make the event? I want to encourage you to visit our Facebook page. It has a lot of information, and you can make your request for your calendar, and we get it to you. Okay. Now, in addition to this, there's an additional fundraiser happening on the auspices of the British High Commissioner. It is being coordinated by National Women's Commission, and the proceeds from that comes to Haven House. It's a night of activities at the British High Commissioner's
gala.
The gala, yes.
That's this Saturday, right?
Yes, it's so ours is Friday and there's a Saturday, and yes, the proceeds also come to Haven House. So we ask that you, one of the events must interest you, and you can attend. Yeah. And those tickets are $100 per person or $175 per couple. So please see how you can support.
And if I want a calendar next week, outside of the 16 days of activity, outside of the launch, outside of the gala, where can I?
You can write us, you can write me directly, or you can visit our Facebook page and send us a messenger message, and we will get it to you.
All right, so now we know. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us before we conclude?
We just want to encourage
people to come out. It will be a night of fun.
From what time to what time again?
6 p.m. to 11 p.m.
Yeah.
So we could drink some wine and we could
yes. Food and drinks will be there. So you can come and meet the models, interact with us.
And pledge a donation for your calendar.
Yes, and if you don't, if you can buy calendar for your friend, it's a great stocking stuffer. And I'm sure.
Is it tall like the Billiken calendar?
Yes, it is. And actually, the first calendar, the same photographer Ernie worked on that with us, and this photographer was also the person who put it together. So it's the same lengthy calendar, really nice.
And finally, for me, when it comes to the Haven House, it's not, besides the fact that we all need these proceeds to eventually, to continue to support. Yes. Are there any other things that people could pledge to say, you know what, I might not need this, but I could take this to the Haven House, which would eventually be useful.
And thank you for that. Yes, so this month, we find that a lot of people want to give. We don't necessarily give you access, because I know a lot of people want to do donations and they want the photo up. But the photo up you get is with me, sorry. But we don't link because of the domestic violence situation. Yes, so we accept Christmas gift for the children, we will get it to them. You don't have the direct connection. And we have an ongoing drive for toiletries and feminine products for our women. And those are, we keep replenishing the stocks because we need those. And then we also encourage you, if you want to give groceries or anything, Haven House is willing to accept. And it's not hard, it's not difficult. I am the head of UWI. It's my passion work that I do. You can always call and drop it off there. I'll be there to do your photo up so that somebody knows you've donated. And then we also have our 30 years. We've been doing this work for 30 years. So January, we will have our color run. We were trying to do our color run, which is paint and powder and music. For 5K, right around the Princess Margaret Drive circuit. We're doing that on January 28th, I think. It's a Saturday in January. And we encourage people to support that as well. You buy your T-shirt, and the proceeds go to the work as well.
Excellent.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Dr. Saunders.
Sampson, thank you too, my brother.
So the launch
wishing you a very good day,
this
both of
Friday at 6 at the Biltmore Plaza.
Thank you.
All right.
There.
Final break of the morning. That's what we're going to do. And when we come back, we'll be wrapping things up. You don't want to go anywhere. Stay with us. We'll be right back. April might have a birthday greeting. Stay with us. We'll be right back.